an intro?
Yeah.
That key doesn't work.
Oh boy.
This should be a fun time.
I'm
I don't know.
excited.
It's
Well, we're at the festival / conference / sometimes convention. Ooh, XOXO in Portland and in the Portland Airstream Studio. Is that what it's called?
I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
I didn't
Why am I
actually-
looking at you? I
Stream
don't like
PDX.
looking at people.
Stream PDX,
Stream
Community
PDX.
Podcast Studio.
Oh.
That's where we are currently located.
And we're with our friends, and I'm going to. Is it okay if I introduce them, and then you can diagnose them as either a robot or a unicorn, even though you don't know everybody very well yet.
Sure.
I'm just very interested in what you will think. All right, since we're actually in an area to my left, Kathy Campbell, who is obviously a unicorn, and pitch your stuff. pitch. Go.
No
We never
pressure.
do it on the show.
I know
never
we
do
don't.
it on the show.
We don't. Yeah, so I am a unicorn who helps small businesses get their shit together. And we can bleep that or not. I don't know. I don't think we ever came up on that yet. But I am an online business manager. And then I also do a couple other podcasts, one called SestraCast, where my co-host, Jean McDonald, and I talk about each episode of Orphan Black. And then I also have Friends in Your Ears, where I bring two podcasters together to talk about podcasts. Very meta. And that's it.
Quinn Rose, what do you do?
hello. Multiple friends are sharing one microphone, so it's going to be an interesting time. Here. But hello. Yeah, my name is Quinn. My pronouns are she, her, and I have used to say I have a bunch of podcasts. I don't anymore. I currently have one. It's called Corner of the Sky, and it's about musical theater and the incomparable. And I also do writing and video, and I will have more podcasts at some point that is not now. Yeah.
But they will be coming.
Is Quinn a robot or a unicorn?
Obviously a robot. Okay. She is closer to a robot, but apparently still aspiring to be a robot.
Professionally.
Yes. So yes, definitely a robot.
I am Margaret Blackburn. My pronouns are they, them. I am a game developer in Chicago working out of the Indie City Co-op, and right now I'm making a mobile game that's sort of like a take on tic-tac-toe with traps in addition to X's and O's. Yeah.
I think they are a unicorn because they greatly appreciate the magic. And I may influence the game slightly. I'm hoping for some confetti, magic, unicorn, something like that. We'll see how that happens.
Spoilers.
I know. I'm very excited.
Matthew Cassinelli, what do you do in life and work?
Yes, hello. My name is, as Alex said, Matthew Cassinelli, and I am a internet creator. I'm learning here to own that because that's what the spirit of the festival is about, but I am doing writing for iMore, and then I'm also writing for The Sweet Setup, and then Alex and I have a podcast called Supercomputer, which we're talking all about technology and a lot of Siri shortcuts too, because I used to work for the app Workflow, and that's coming out next week as a feature that everyone can use. So we're trying to share and help everybody learn how to use it.
Now, do you work at Apple?
I do not, actually. Fun fact, I don't work at Apple.
That's really funny to people who listen to Super. Do you listen to Supercomputer, Kathy? No pressure. No pressure.
I have listened to
Okay,
it,
so
yes.
can you correctly diagnose Matthew as a robot or a unicorn?
Well, I'm definitely going to say robot just because
Interesting.
putting things together in like that sort of technology space and like, oh, hey, I'm going to make this do this, and like engineering and whatnot, I feel like it's a very robot trait.
I'm going to contest that.
I am okay with this
Oh.
because I know you know Matthew better, but I am still your better co-host because this is my show right now. But do continue.
I'm sharing an unsolicited opinion because I've listened to a lot of men this week, so it's rubbing off. Avoiding that. Oh, this is a not safe for work podcast.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, totally.
Fuck balls, poop. I think that Matthew is like a unicorn that has become a cyborg because he
Oh.
he wrote all of the original documentation for workflow that like I could read and understand. And before I abandon workflow because I'm like, okay, Apple acquired this, it's gonna die. That was the only way I could build any sort of workflow. So yeah, please listen to our show, Supercomputer. You can find it at supercomputer.fm. Is that the right?
Yes.
Yeah, and _supercomputer on Twitter. I'm pitching all of these things quickly because I don't know how much time we have in this. Oh, we have 15 minutes. That's a world in podcast
Oh yeah, we
time.
have plenty of time.
That's like one whole ad on the Comedy Bang Bang show. Are you guys liking the festival? This is my third or fourth time, and I can't remember. But it's way, way different this year.
It is so different this year, and not just because how I'm attending is very different. So last event in 2016, I attended just the festival pass, or as people in our group call it, BenchCon. And the year before that, because I'm local-ish to the festival, in 2015, I came just to the podcasting meetup, mainly just to meet Myke Hurley, and luckily enough, Adina as well. So that was kind of fun. But I decided that the next year I was going to come to the actual event of sorts.
I was too scared to talk to Mike.
Oh,
Yeah, right. I mean, it has a happy ending.
I know. No, that's very true. That is very true. But oh,
The first time I met Mike at RelayCon, I told him that I liked the wooden bow tie that he was given as a gift, and then also failed to mention my name. And so I'm pretty sure I was just like, hey, great job, and then walked away. And I was like, I probably should have said who I was, because I doubt he even knows that that's how he met me. But
okay, Mike. So I'm going to tag you in this because I don't know if you listen.
no.
But hey.
Oh, hi, Mike.
I would just like to say that since we're talking about meeting Mike now, I first met him at XOXO 2016, which is the first XOXO I was at, and we had known each other on Twitter. And so we were talking, but I was really nervous to meet him for the first time. And then Kathy told him that I was very nervous to meet him for the first time. And I was like, what? Why?
Yes, and I have since apologized for that. But I also know that it would make it easier for him to know how to better make you feel at ease.
He obviously already knew that as well. I don't think I was like that suave.
You weren't hiding it that very well. No, it's true.
It's a good story now.
Yes.
Margaret, this is your second EXO?
This is my first XOXO.
Oh, that's right.
I do not know Myke Hurley, so if he can come find me
Who
in
the
the
fuck
world.
is that guy?
I don't know. I'm not a podcast person.
Well, you are now.
Oh no.
I'm so sorry. And this is Matthew's first time too,
Yeah.
correct?
I am born and raised in Portland, but I never heard about it until
Oh,
the year,
that's
and then
interesting.
it happened, and then they were like, we're not going to do it this year, and I was like, oh, cool.
Never
that's-
mind.
But now it's back,
kidding.
and I'm here, so yeah, it's great.
Sweet.
We've all been to a bunch of conferences and conventions. How has your weekend been?
I'm really tired.
I'm so tired.
Yeah, which, to be honest, that's a pretty common occurrence. But I think especially because I'm currently sleeping at home instead of a hotel or an Airbnb or some other sort of sharingness thing, it's a very different experience. So I get to go home and pet my cat and dog and hug my husband and say hi to my daughter and have that separation from conference time, which I think is good except for the hour drive.
Oh my god.
But this morning it wasn't an hour, so that was nice. And I'm looking at Quinn when I say that because she's staying with me.
Yeah, I also get to say hi to Kathy's daughter every night, so that's good. But yeah, no, I am staying with Kathy for this XOXO, which is great because the XOXO 2016 was the first time I met anyone on the internet, and Kathy picked me up from the airport, despite the fact that I had only known her from the internet, which scared my mom a little bit. But I was like, it's fine. And
I would have never said yes to that.
Also, it's
Fuck.
totally fine because I
Hard
said,
no.
hey, I'm not an axe
Hard
murderer.
no.
So.
Yeah, because all of the
That makes
axe
it true.
murderers are. Oh God.
It's fine. I survived. We're here. We're thriving.
I think that's a survivorship bias.
Oh my God.
I'm ignoring all the other people who have been murdered by Kathy Campbell.
Oh God, it is like my dream to hang out with a serial killer who is actually. Why are people? How is anybody surprised at this table?
Yeah, fair,
Not
fair.
surprised at all.
Well, no, because I don't think I've ever met a true sociopath, and like that's the one I've met. A lot of. I kind of have a collection of the DSM-5 and like trade my diagnosis with other people. It's the DSM-5 trading card game. Of, the DSM-5 is it's not cool to call it the Big Book of Crazy, but a lot of people refer to it's all of the psychiatric issues folks can have in one big problematic book. But I've never met a sociopath, and I want to because I don't understand. And they don't understand, and it's I also worry about being a sociopath, but like the rule is if you worry about it, then you can't be a sociopath. Yeah. So fingers crossed.
How would you know if they were? Isn't their whole thing that they act like they're not?
Well, very, very good point. And that's why I guess that's true. I probably have met a sociopath, but that's why I say we have not traded the trading cards of like, what's wrong with you? Oh, your brain's broken this way, my brain's broken that way. And also a lot of sociopaths don't. This is a different place than I. But yeah, they don't. Self-identify as they're not like don't be sociopath normative. Like they're too busy killing people during surgery and getting high off of that. Anyway, Margaret have you been to? I guess I'm most interested in what the two of you think because this is totally different than previous previous XOs. What are your impressions of XO as a like follow your bliss type of? It's more complicated than that, but
This is the second conference I've ever been to.
Oh, really? You've not been to GDC?
No, I have not.
Oh.
GDC is expensive, and
Right.
I have not planned properly to get out to San Francisco just to be around, so I have not done it yet. The first conference that I went to was MoonConf, which is in Boulder, Colorado, and it was about functional programming. Totally not related to my current career trajectory. But yeah, I've been enjoying it so far. Talking to people is weird, and talking about things that I work on is weird. And so it's been feeling a little more comfortable being able to talk about those things that I work on and not really being shy about it. Yeah.
Good.
That makes me so happy to hear.
Yeah, that's kind of the impression I get too from the conference is that it's just super easy to talk to anyone about what you do because we all are like share the unique part about working from the internet, and so that is just built into everyone that generally that doesn't happen as much in person, and so it's everybody has imposter syndrome, and then so it's kind of like, well, just cast that aside and just talk to each other because they're probably feeling the same way. And it is just nice to have just like the openness be a default and not in like a preachy way too, which is or like hippie about it or something. They're just like, this is just how it is, and I really appreciate that because I mean it doesn't necessarily affect me as a straight white male, but it still is important to see that for everybody else because that just makes a huge difference in who feels comfortable coming or sharing and things like that. So I found that super unique. But I don't even know if I've been to that many other conferences either. So
WWDC.
Yeah, that's true. That's open in a different way just because so many Apple nerds.
Oh,
but
boy.
Yeah. Totally different conversation.
Yeah.
This has been a weird, like you've all said, it's very much about like imposter syndrome. But after so many years of hearing like hashtag follow your bliss and hashtag minimalism, and like there are imposters, like there's a reason why it's called imposter syndrome.
Yes.
And I'm like, there are definitely imposters here. There are definitely people who haven't made anything cool and they just want to glom on to people who have made something interesting and they feel like a karma suck and I don't like them. And I have run into that a lot this year. Yeah, I'm just gonna say it. Like, there's more fanboying, I think, this year than ever before, and I don't know if that's because of the larger size. And traditionally, it used to be very traditionally, good lord, like you'd go to a place and you'd know, like, okay, Slack is paying for this, like MailChimp is paying for this, and like there's advertisement everywhere. But the meetups, a lot of them were ended up being, they were either poorly organized or like just there to talk about not creating something but being a fan of something, which feels weird for a conference rather than a convention.
Yeah.
And I guess because this is an experiment, it's like, things change and adapt, but I wasn't really down to like talk about cool Patreon creators, and like the fact that, like, I don't know, it was weird. It's weird. I will say that this week/weekend has made me really want to go work on shit, which is kind of what everybody or not everybody, but what most folks feel inspired after XOXO.
Yeah.
And now I'm just kind of angry, and I just want to go and work on my laptop.
Well, working on your laptop, though, do you want to work on something different, something creative, something?
No, I just want to do the current stuff I do, because I really like all the current stuff I do.
Which I feel might be a different thing
I guess
for yourself. Because you are doing your creative things, and you have the ability to do kind of what you want to do, which not necessarily like this isn't for you type of a mindset, but like
I have definitely felt
that.
But what is frustrating to me is I should make the disclaimer of like there are so many folks who can't do what they want to do because of like privilege and just like access to microphone, like since we're in this like public thing, like the fact that they have this studio that people can just come into and who've like never recorded a podcast before is super cool. And like I guess I'm talking about the folks who are I don't know, not lazy, like that's definitely I don't know the word for it, but
and there are definitely people that have are so afraid of that imposter syndrome, or don't think that they have something that they feel like they can put out in the world, or even something that they want to talk about, because they don't necessarily have an idea of what that would be. So like if someone is like, okay, I want to be creative, but I don't know how to knit, I don't know how to sew clothes, I don't know how to do a podcast, I don't know, and they feel this whole overwhelm of there's so many options out there, I don't know what to pick. Where it can become something, just being around other people and having other people tell you what their passion or their creative project is can help give you guidance on what your own can be. But also because there are so many people, and I mean, it jumped, not doubled, but pretty close.
Yeah.
In size, and there was a whole year taken off. There's a lot of growth issues that have been occurring, and communication problems, and
that's totally understandable.
Yeah,
like that's not, that's, as a former / current event person, like that's
right,
gonna happen.
Yeah, but the fact that all of these people too, because there are so many people here that have obviously never been here before, it still is trying to make sure that it has the presence of mind to have the atmosphere of the previous events, but it's not going to be able, it's not possible, like it's impossible to have that feel of that really intimate 300 people thing,
which I think is okay. That, like, I think that is fine, but do you think that this is a $500 conference now, as it is as it currently is?
That's a very difficult. It's a difficult question to answer,
because you can't put a value on the interactions,
right,
with folks you are meeting and talking to. But like now, by design, it's much harder. I am actually shocked. Well, you might be shocked, or not shocked to know that I don't enjoy making friends, and it's hard and awkward and weird.
What?
But every XO previously, I've come away with a lot of new friends, and that has not been the case this year.
It has seemed to be difficult to interact with new people in a very organic way that I feel like 2016 was.
Do you think I'm just being a bitch and like I'm not enjoying interacting with people who, for example, like a certain show I do that a lot of people listen to?
I was also wondering how much of it is the fact that you are out in the world in a very different light than previously.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. Like, there weren't quite as many like people listening to my voice or my brand or whatever 2 years ago, but it was still like, oh my god, I love Top Scout. Like, I don't know. Do you, man?
Yeah. No, and it's hard to say, and I doubt we'll ever really know what that answer is, but all of your thoughts and feelings are, of course, 100% completely valid and acceptable to have, and other people will not.
That's true,
think
but they
that
could
same
be
way.
wrong.
Yes.
My
But they're accurate to what you are feeling right now, and so that's not wrong.
It feels a little bit like Pride. Like, I feel like this is not for me anymore, which I think is okay for sure, but I don't know. I think it's interesting.
Well, and
Also, if you were at XO and you wanted to say hi, I apologize. Because there have been so many people who I think are so interesting, like tweeting at me and me like, hey, let's hang out. Like, this is, and then I look at their bio, I'm like, oh my god, you are such a cool person. I want to be friends with you. And it's just very hard to find anybody. But again, that's growing pains of any conference.
Yeah.
So that's not like, yeah. How about the rest? I apologize.
and it looks like Quinn's
Rant
gonna
over.
say something.
I just want to say, like, as someone who was here in 2016, comparing my experiences in the two, because Alex, did you have a festival or a conference pass in 2016?
I've always had a conference pass.
Okay, because I know that Kathy was just doing festival, so
Mhm.
I was doing conference, and I came in, and I just feel like I've had so much more time of just kind of sitting around this year, and I don't know if that's just like bias that I don't remember that as much from 2016 2 years ago, but I felt like my experience in 2016 was so defined by the talks that I went to, and yes, absolutely, like the interactions I had with people, but it was like my first time coming into a new community and sort of meeting everyone, and there were lots of people around, and it was sort of contained into like certain evenings or activities, whereas this time I felt like we came in on Thursday, we had a ton of time, and there was Friday and there was a ton of time, and there wasn't as much like that I was doing or that I had like active ways to interact with people that I didn't already know. And we're just getting into conference talks now, which, and I know some people didn't even get here until Friday and all that stuff, but like that for me, I've been here for 3 days, and I'm like, oh my god, and now we're just getting to the part that like
Is the actual conference.
that is like, and I had a great experience before talking to people, but I wanted to come back for the talks and for the programming, because that is what made the biggest impression on me. And so now we're just now getting to that part, and so now I'm like, okay, like now we'll see if it was worth it, you know?
Yeah, that's a very good point. And the reason I just bring it up is like there seems to be more people but less engagement than previous years. I don't know. Also, this is not to I will say though, like, so much care and thought is put into everything by the Andes and by the volunteers and organizers. Like, they're awesome. I'm just
They're
a crabby
working
pants.
so hard.
And I like what they're saying about improving it as they go. They're like, we
Yeah,
messed up
for
on
sure.
the first day. It's too cold, so we're going to turn it up. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, it was freezing last night.
Yeah, it was really
Yeah,
cold.
yeah.
And I'm just hoping that it doesn't counteract the wrong way, because everyone dressed
Yeah,
for
we're gonna
colder
die.
weather,
We're gonna all
and
be
then we're all gonna
sweating in
melt.
there. But I mean, you're probably gonna say no, Alex, but I could see you doing a talk here in the future.
No,
And-
no.
Because it is like the success of stuff does change it. And I mean, I think what's interesting is that almost by nature too, more people here are going to know if you do have something successful,
Yeah.
because we are all internet people, and there's a lot of podcast overlap and things like that. So in ways that make sense specifically for you, and this is my first time here, and it's like I just even just being by myself at some points I think helps or that people don't necessarily recognize me because I'm not like famous or anything, but at the same time it's just like
they just don't know. Like you're
yeah, that's how
you're
fame
the
works.
you're
Yeah.
But I mean, especially there's always like those moments where you're just kind of standing there and then you see someone else who's also standing there and it's kind of like you like make eye contact but then look away because it's like, oh, I don't know who you are. And I've just tried to be like, hey, like, or like the other person, then you start talking with them and somebody else is kind of listening, which just happens too, even though it's slightly awkward or whatever. But then it's just like, let's just talk and not have it be some sort of odd thing. And so I've met I only knew you, Alex, before this. So everybody in the room that I'm talking to now, I've just met. And you guys are pretty cool, at least, but you folks.
I just thought of something where, well, honestly, I would have paid like $500 to see Cameron Esposito give a mostly serious talk, and it was very good. She did the opening keynote, and the part about you don't always need to be like thankful. You're allowed to have mixed feelings about having an audience, rather than because I always feel like right now I feel absolutely guilty and terrible. And the thing that Matthew said about it, like people just like overhearing something and then joining a conversation, that has like not happened to me once without other than like with folks I do know or vaguely know. And then again, like on Twitter, it's like I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry, no, I want like I want. Yeah. That's what this is for because and. It's also my own failing because I haven't been like, hey, I see someone just did it. I want to go. I could be that person that's like, hey, what do you do? And I'm just bad at it. It's like the parent who's like, so what are you doing after college? And it's like, what you don't, God, just fuck this.
Someone suggested in Slack using the PacMan method instead of a circle
I
when you're
try
sitting and talking.
That's so. But then I would think that I was taking somebody's spot because I'm like, I would be like, why the fuck are you just leaving this? So that's like, so hard. That's such bad human UI. Like weird.
No, it is. But it also, and while I don't necessarily do PacMan, I do try and leave a little bit more space or like open up. Or if somebody's like, oh, hey, looking at the group, be like, you want to join? But I feel like both Matthew and I have that unicorn sense of magic where we're like, hey, I'm gonna go talk to this person, and it's okay.
Maybe I am a unicorn instead of a robot.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, you just have a few like maybe like a robot arm that pokes at your iPad.
I'm okay with the cyborg robot or cyborg unicorn.
Thank you so much to Stream PDX, the community podcast studio. This has been here, I think, almost every year I've been at XO. And this is so fun. And also, I love that I can say negative things and not, like, be burned on the internet for it. Yeah. Like, not be... Like, I love that every year this is an experiment. And also, thank you for the people who did say hi and who brought me presents.
And thank you for Quinn and Margaret and Matthew for joining us on this episode.
That was awesome.
I just want to say something really quick to finish it out because we were talking a little bit about, like... worth and cost and everything. And I want to say that I am one of like I think hundreds and hundreds of people who are here for free, and I am staying with Kathy for free, and so like I wouldn't be able to be here if not for that. And so like super huge shout out for XOXO for doing all of that as well.
And there's you cannot distinguish who could
tell.
Yeah, it's as well as I didn't know this. The volunteers who do not have a shift, they're encouraged to like put on their I almost said skivvies. That's naked, right? No.
Yes.
Like their citizen clothes because they have, if they want, so that like, you know, nobody will know like you could only come here because you volunteered. Yeah. Which is, everyone should brag though. All of you volunteers, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, volunteers.
You're unicorns.
Thank you for having me on the Robot and Unicorn podcast.
Yeah, it's been great.
But you should have a link to your game by that point, even if it's just like a tweet of.
We were playing it before, and that's fun.
I do have a tweet where I am showing like a video of it for the first time. I'm on Twitter, MOLLROW Malrow.
Sweet. We will definitely put links in the show notes.
Thank you.
Matthew, where are you on the internet?
I'd say at Matt Cassinelli is the easiest place to find me, and I'm going to do a better job of posting the links to everything else that I do. So it's just one spot, because I keep doing like a 2-minute pitch each time I do a podcast, and it's like, wait, I gotta work on this.
Yeah. And I'm at Alex Cox on Twitter, spelled COX, not the other way. And I'm also trying to tweet. I feel like I've become like a promotion machine, and that feels gross.
You're not, though.
Well, I want to say like one thing that's special about this particular thing every week. And this episode is special because our friends are joining us.
Yeah.
Where can you be found, Mrs. Soup?
Hey, spoiler alert. You can find me at
Tease
Mrs.
that
Soup
there.
on Twitter and Instagram. And also, I have changed my personal website at kathycampbell.com
Oh.
to have links to everything. So I can just say, hey, go to kathycampbell.com instead of like everything, because I also do photography. And so like it's easier to just be like, hey,
Yeah, nice.
yeah, go here.
And I'm at Aspiring Robot FM on Twitter and Instagram, and you can look me up, aspiringrobot.com.
I'm really glad that everybody here, it feels like, at least this weekend, has taken a lot of pride in what they do, and everyone's great. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yay!
Outro music.